bones, blood, and flesh. These are the tools I shall use to raise forth an army of the dead. For I am a necromancer, and these are my companions. Rise forth, my minions, rise forth, lords of bone, abominations of meat and muscle, skeletons of skulls, rise forth and serve me as we go into battle against civilization itself. Mad, they called me mad, but who's mad now? For I am a commander of an army of the undead. I am Lord Dark Elf Guy, necromancer extraordinaire, commander of the legions of the undead, ready to bring down civilization at a single glance. And my first target will be none other than those pesky Nords of Dagonfell. Feast, my minions, feast upon their flesh, and bring me new materials upon which to raise more for my army of the doomed. Oh my, actually getting an army of the undead to attack civilization really just brings down the frame rate, doesn't it? It's absolute murder on the frame rate. Oh well. But anyway, sorry for the theatrics, but let's just get to our mod of the day today, which today is NecroCraft, a comprehensive necromancy gameplay and quest mod by VitruvianGuar. And basically, what this mod does is, well, it's kind of in the name, isn't it? It adds just an entirely functional new necromancy gameplay system to the game world of Morrowind. And not just that, but it also adds just a ton of new content. This means that you can just finally live out your dreams of becoming an evil necromantic overlord attacking civilization with your army of the undead, as you can, clearly see in the background. Though, as a note, raising hundreds of undead minions will bring down the frame rate rather noticeably, so, that's something you should just keep in mind. It took me a really long time to raise an army of the undead of this size, so it's not like, something you have to worry about unless you're raising, 100 of them, but still, if that's your dream to, bring down civilization with an army of the doomed, it is going to be a bit killer on FPS. But anyway, just focusing on the features here, basically, how this works is once you've read the 3 books in the vanilla game on corpse preparation, you'll gain access to a new skill and, some new abilities. The ability to harvest bones and craft undead minions. A huge part of necromancy is really just gathering materials, because you'll need materials in order to create your new undead minions. And to do this, you can harvest bones from corpses, like NPC corpses, or even just undead minions, like you might find in an ancestral tomb, like skeletons or bone walkers. You can harvest them for bones. And, speaking of ancestral tombs, you can also get bones from ash pits. You can harvest an ash pit for just, the various bones that it might contain. And basically, in terms of, NPCs and bone walkers and all that, harvesting the bones is basically an alternative to disposing of the corpse. And in addition to NPC bodies, another thing you can do is you can actually prepare the corpse and, prepare it to be, or to make it into a, an undead abomination, like a zombie or a bone walker. And this uses the crafting framework to just, to give you a really nice UI to craft your undead minions. Not just in terms of, preparing corpses to make them into zombies or bone walkers, but also for making skeleton minions. There's a bone crafting menu that you can open up just by dragging a bone onto your character's profile. And that'll allow you to craft skeleton minions, bone lords, and even skeleton spiders, which are, certainly a rather interesting looking creature. And with the crafting framework, you can just, you can see the requirements that you need for, each type of undead minion. But crafting your minions is one thing, raising them is quite another. These aren't undead summons, they aren't temporary companions, these are, like permanent creations. And as such, they need special spells in order to raise them. And you can learn these spells from various magical tomes that you might find out in the game world, or, from your fellow necromancers. Though, as a note, necromancers tend to not be very friendly, so you will need to, equip yourself with, some calming spells. You need to calm them down, then, win them over to your cause in order to get them to not attack you. Once you've done that, you can, exchange spells and learn a bit more about necromancy. And even do a number of quests for your fellow necromancers. I think there's around, I don't know, maybe a dozen different necromancy-related quests that you can find in this mod, mostly for your fellow necromancers. And it does expand on some of these characters quite a bit, like, Sorkville the Raven. That's a famous necromancer in the vanilla game that you don't really get to interact with too much in the vanilla game outside of killing him. And now you can actually do a number of quests for him, and not just him, but a number of other necromancers, like Gorus, another famous necromancer, and a variety of other necromancers that you might just find out in the out somewhere in the wilderness. Though, of course, you can just, attack these necromancers like you normally would. Though it is worth noting that if you do that, the AI behavior of necromancers has been kind of just slightly altered by this mod. Namely, they will raise, undead companions, same as you. And these are permanent undead companions. They're not summons. They will continue to exist even after you kill the necromancer. And in addition to this, if you do prepare corpses and skeletons in the field of battle and haven't, raised them yet, those necromancers might raise those undead companions for themselves and have those undead companions serve their will. And speaking of, raising the undead, it is worth noting that necromancy is a forbidden practice in Morrowind. It is a crime. So, if you are raising an undead minion in, say in a city, like if you're raising a skeleton or preparing a corpse and someone sees you, that will be reported as a crime and the guards will attack you and your minions. So, you do need to be a bit careful and, keep that necromancy just out in the wilderness away from any witnesses, unless, of course, you are just launching a massive, undead attack on civilization with your giant undead army. But anyway, a few other things that are worth noting here. There's also the ability to gain lichdom through the practice of necromancy. You can eventually learn how to turn yourself into a lich. And really, I do think this is quite possibly just the ultimate implementation of necromancy in Morrowind. There have been many attempts over the years to make necromancy a actual viable, playstyle in the vanilla game, with actual, undead raising mechanics. We've had mods like Affligity's Blasphemous Revenants, which before NecroCraft was probably the closest we actually got to, actual undead raising necromancy mechanics in Morrowind. But in terms of, functionality, practicality, and integration, NecroCraft is just, leagues ahead of anything we've seen before, for Morrowind in terms of just functional necromancy. It is incredibly just well integrated and easy to use, and not to mention again, it has a ton of new content, with tons of new quests for you to go on. There is no question that this is just an absolutely fantastic necromancy mod, and if you have even the slightest interest in becoming a necromancer and becoming the commander of your own army of the undead, this is absolutely just the perfect mod to, check out for yourself. But anyway, that's just our mod of the day. So as always, I've been your host, Dark Elf Guy. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, happy modding, and I'll see you all next time.